Hi everybody, welcome to yet another episode of HSP TV. Today is the 28th episode and I wanted to talk to you about a subject that I recently had some new insights into, and that is the subject of stop being a victim. If you're tuning in today, give me a shout out, tell me your name, tell me where you're from. I'll give you a shout out in the episode. I always like to connect to the people that are watching, so thank you in advance for being here and thank you for listening to my story. Today I want to talk to you about stop being a victim, because that is something that I heard a lot when I was younger, and it always kind of hurt me because the people who told me this, they didn't explain what they mean by it. If you're a bit like me, then you probably have experienced stuff when you were younger. It can be when you were a little child, can be in your teens, can be in your 20s, 30s, or whatever. We experience things, and us being highly sensitive people as we are, we experience them quite different than other people. And I remember I was very, maybe you would call it optimistic, or maybe you would call it naive, but I thought everybody was like I am. Everybody was kind and open and had the best interests of other people at heart. And I soon discovered that that wasn't the case. There are people out there who only think about themselves, and then you end up in situations that hurt you as a sensitive person. Because I learned that people do stuff to other people that can be quite hurtful. And I never thought that things like that would have been possible, because I myself would have never done such a thing to somebody else. And it can be saying a hurtful thing, it can be doing a hurtful action like not responding to messages, or not coming when you had agreed to meet up in the city for drinks, or it can be saying, oh God, you look fat in that dress. And most of the time people don't mean it to be hurtful. Most of the time people don't think when they say something, and they cannot, they won't, how do I say this correctly? We are empaths. We feel what other people feel, and we can imagine how things could come across when we say things to other people. But I found that most people, they don't think, they just say, and they don't think about how it can come across. They don't think about how it could hurt you. They are just saying their truth. And us being sensitive people, we tend to get hurt by people who act like that, by people who say things like that. I have often heard people tell me, stop acting like a victim. For instance, when my partner of 7 years suddenly broke off our relationship. I thought we were getting married, I thought we were about to have kids, and one day he just gets up from the couch and he tells me that for him our relationship is over and that he wants me to move out. And I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I thought I would grow old with this person. We didn't have any fights. There was no indication or no signs telling me that the end of the relationship was near. And it turned out he was just thinking about it in his own mind, and he didn't share his thoughts or his feelings with me. And so to me, it came as a complete shock. Hi Ilko, nice of you to join. And I remember just feeling overwhelmed by all the emotions. I felt overwhelmed by the hurt, by the sadness, by the sorrow, but also anger. How could he do this to me? How could he treat me like this? Doesn't he understand how this makes me feel, or how this comes across for me? And I remember feeling like I was drowning in my emotions, feeling like I was drowning in the situation. And then my sister-in-law, actually, she came up to me and she said, stop acting like a victim. And that hurt me even more, because I thought, but this is happening to me. I didn't choose the end of the relationship. He did. I didn't have a say in it. So how should I act? How should I behave? He didn't consult me. He didn't talk to me. It just happened. So I am a victim in this situation. And I don't understand what you mean with your remark. And I've noticed this a lot, well-meaning friends, but even in health therapists, that they tell you to stop acting like a victim, but they don't explain what they mean by it. They don't explain that you have a choice. Of course, I was a victim of his actions in this situation. He decided to end the relationship without consulting me, without me having a say in it. So in that fact, I was a victim. But what I didn't understand was that I had a choice in how I felt about it. I had a choice in feeling helpless and like everything was happening to me and that I didn't have a say in it and really acting like a victim. Or I had the choice to act like a person who took control of their lives. Of course, you don't have a choice in how you feel. I still felt emotional, I still felt hurt, I still felt angry, but I could choose to not let that dominate my life. I could choose to pick up the pieces of my shattered life and to make something maybe even more wonderful out of them. That could have been my choice, but I didn't understand I had that choice. I thought that what I was feeling is what I was feeling and that I didn't have any say in the matter, that I didn't have any control about how I was feeling. And it was only in a later age that I learned that we do have a say in how we feel. We can decide if we want to wallow in self-pity, feel like the world has ended for us and cry our eyes out and just be very pitiful and not take action and wallow in everything. Or we can decide, yes, you fucking hurt me. Yes, I am angry. Yes, I am upset. But you know what? Fuck you. Sorry for the language and the gestures, but that's how I feel. Fuck you. I am going to make an even better life for myself. I am going to enjoy being alone. I am going to enjoy all the things that I am now able to do without you being there. And that's eventually what I did. I started a diary. And on this side of the page, on the left side, I wrote everything that made me sad, everything that hurt me, all the emotions that I was feeling. Because as sensitive people, we feel so much. And it's not okay to just push your feelings away, to ignore that they are there, to pretend like you're not feeling hurt, to pretend that your world hasn't shattered. That's something we cannot do. So it's okay to feel the emotions, because emotions, they want to be felt. So it's okay to write them down. It's okay to acknowledge everything that's going on inside you, everything that you're feeling. But at the other side, on the right side of my journal, I wrote all the things that were positive that were now happening to me. And it could be little things like I can now eat fish whenever I want to, because he didn't like fish. And in the beginning I cooked 2 separate dishes, fish for me, meat for him. But eventually you stop doing that. We were together for 7 years and eventually it just becomes too much of a hassle, too much of a problem. So I stopped eating fish. And I thought I was okay with it. But the moment I became single, I discovered I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want it. And that also means I can eat fish. I can eat fish 5 times in the week if I want to. And you're not there to comment on it. You're not there to bring me down with your negativity about not wanting to eat fish. So that was one of the things that went into the positive column. Other things were, it was always clean in my house when I returned home. When I left and everything was clean and everything was in its place, it looked exactly the same when I got home. That was also some of the things that were often an issue in our relationship. I left home, everything was nice and clean, everything was organized, everything felt really great. Hi Alex, nice of you to join. And then when I came home, he had worked home and the house was a complete mess. I could see what he ate, what he drank, where he drank it, where he ate it, if he had friends over. And the house was a complete pigsty sometimes when I came home. Not all the time, but sometimes yes. And that would annoy me to no end because I worked long days, I had a lot of commute time, so I was on an average away from home for at least 10 hours. And all I wanted to do was just eat something and sit on the couch and just relax. And I can't relax when everything is a mess. I think that's also an HSP thing, because I hear it a lot from the people that come to my practice. And that was also one for the positive column. My house was clean when I came back. Everything was still organized. Everything was still beautiful. And that was something that I experienced as being really positive. And another thing that I experienced as being really positive was the toilet. I'm sorry guys, but you standing up and peeing, you don't always hit the bowl. Not everything hits the bowl. So that means that the floor is also dirty and it smells kind of weird whenever you have a guy over that peed at your toilet. And when I was by myself, the time I was alone, my toilet always smelled really great whenever I went there. And that was also a small thing, but it also went into the positivity column. And that is what they mean when they say stop acting like a victim. You have a choice in your thoughts. You have a choice in what you are feeling. You can steer it. You can focus your entire being on how miserable you are, how sad you are, how he treated you badly, how everything now suddenly is different, how you lost your house, how you lost a lot of your friends, and you see it go down in a downward spiral. It doesn't bring you anything but more sadness, more pain, more sorrow. Like I said before, it doesn't mean don't feel the things that you're feeling, because you do have to feel the things you're feeling, but don't get stuck in it. Don't let yourself be pulled down into that negative spiral. Acknowledge the things that you're feeling. Stand still by the things that you're feeling. Say, yes, I am feeling shitty, but tonight I can eat fish. If that's your thing, like it was my thing. And that made me smile again. So you can control your thoughts. You can give yourself permission to wallow in your self-pity for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and then actively decide to pull yourself out of it and actively choose to focus on positive things. On, for instance, for me, I love to dance, and I stopped dancing because he wasn't into the dancing scene. He didn't like dancing. He didn't even like to go out. So I almost never went out anymore. And that were also positive things that I experienced from the end of the relationship. I could go dancing whenever I wanted to. I could go out, I could meet friends, I could go out to dinner, I could enjoy myself. And I actually took the time to do that, to be fully present when I went out and actually enjoy the music, enjoy the people around me, enjoy the sensation in my body when I was moving it to the music again. You have a choice. You can choose to stay in the victim role, and you didn't have a choice of becoming a victim of a certain circumstance. That are things that indeed happen to you. But you do have a choice if you stay in that victim state, if you stay wallowing in self-pity, if you stay in the fear, in the hurt, in the anger, in the sadness, in the sorrow, in all the negativity. But negativity attracts even more negativity. So as long as you are there, as long as you are in that negative spot, nothing good will happen to you. You won't find another partner when you're wallowing in self-pity. Because, be honest, would you want to date somebody new that was depressed and crying all the time and was really negative and always complained and wallowed in self-pity? If you were feeling great, would you want somebody like that as your new partner? No, of course not. Nobody wants a new partner that acts and behaves like that. So if you stay in your negativity, you will never attract a new loving partner who might be your dream partner. If you stay in that negativity, maybe even more negative things will happen, like losing your job, or your cat being ran over in front of your house, or all kinds of negative things. Negativity attracts even more negativity. So it becomes piled up negativity, and your downward spiral will spiral out of control. Realize that you have the choice to think different thoughts. If you realize all of a sudden that you are thinking about your partner again, maybe longing for old times to come back, or whatever thoughts you might have, maybe they are even angry thoughts of them being an asshole or a real bitch, and maybe even what you want to do to them. Realize that that is attracting even more negativity into your life, and then become aware that you are thinking things like that. Give yourself a limited time to really get into that emotion, to really get into the thoughts. But after a minute of 10, actively decide to focus on the positive things. Maybe you had a really nice WhatsApp message from a good friend asking how you were, and asking if you would like to go for drinks in the evening. Then focus on that part. Focus on the people that are there for you. Focus on the people that give you support. And if by any chance you don't have those people in your life, then focus on other things that you can control, like eating fish or the clean toilet in your house. Because I lost all my friends when he ended our relationship, so I didn't have anyone in the first few months after. But that's also one of the things that I realized. They weren't really my friends, and this time gave me the opportunity to make real friends, to make new friends, friends who would actually be there for me whenever I needed them. And that was also kind of liberating, and that made me feel good. What also made me feel good was that every time I got home, my cat girls were happy that I was there. From now on, and after ending the relationship, every time I got home, people, or animals in this case, were glad that I was there. And that also was very heartwarming. I was also really glad every morning I woke up, for instance, but also that the sun was shining. There are so many things that we can be grateful for that can bring us a smile or a positive thought. And like negativity attracting negativity, positivity also attracts positivity. So when you actively choose not to wallow in self-pity, but to pull yourself out of it and maybe take a long walk in nature, and then appreciating how good you feel when you are there, how beautiful the trees are, how beautiful the flowers are that are now blooming up because it's almost spring again. You attract even more positivity the moment you shift your focus, you shift your thoughts to those positive things, and then you actively step out of your role of being a victim. You won't be the victim once you focus on all the positive things. You don't have to stay a victim. You have a choice to step out of it. You have the choice to think about other things, to change your thoughts, to change your feelings, and to shift them to something better. There were so many moments I really cried my eyes out. He hurt me incredibly deep. If I hadn't been a sensitive person, he would have hurt me. Me being a sensitive person, it hit to my core. He hurt me to the depths of my soul. And there were a lot of moments that I cried. I could cry about just anything, especially in the beginning. But I allowed myself to have a really good cry for about 10 minutes. And then I picked myself up, went to buy that awesome chocolate brownie at the baker at the end of the street that I love so much. And then continue on walking to the forest and spending as long in nature as I needed to. And by the time I got home, I felt so much better. I stepped out of my victim role. I took hold of my own life, and I decided what I wanted to think. I decided where I wanted to be, and I decided how I wanted to feel. And that is my message to you. All the people that have told you before that you should stop acting like a victim, but didn't explain what they mean by it. They hurt you. You didn't understand what they meant. If you don't know that you can choose your thoughts, choose your feelings, and that you can get yourself out of feeling funky or sad or angry or whatever, then you don't understand what they mean when they tell you to stop acting like a victim. And if you're one of those people who have told other people to stop acting like a victim, but didn't explain what you mean by it, I hope that this story now explains to you why you should explain to them how they can do that. Why you are saying that. What is your motive for saying that? What actions, what steps can they take to actually stop being a victim? Because it is so easy to just tell them to stop being a victim and walk away. It's so easy. But you hurt them when you do that. When you don't explain what you mean. When you don't tell them how. So tell them the next time. Tell them how they can stop being a victim. Help them overcome whatever blocks they have internally that keep them in that victim state. Then you actually help the person. And if you cannot do that, or if you don't want to do that, then just shut your mouth. Don't tell them stop acting like a victim and walk away. Just shut your mouth. Don't say anything. Think it in your head and walk away. You'll be doing them a really big favor. I hope this was clear to you. I hope this was valuable to you. I hope I was able to explain that you are the creator of your life. You get to choose what you allow in your life and what not, and you are also the one that gets to choose if you want to be a victim, if you want to remain a victim, if you want to stay a victim, or if you want to be, act, or do something else. If you need any help with this subject, if you listened to my story, you think, yes, I understand what you're saying, but I just have such a hard time getting out of this victimhood, then please just contact me. I am offering everybody that watches this a free breakthrough clarity session in which I will help you understand where you are now, where you want to go, what is blocking you from getting there, and I will give you an action plan to take the steps to get where you want to be. You can book it at www.beinbalance.com/yes. So take me up on my offer for the free coaching session if you feel that you could use help in this subject, or even if you feel you could use help in a different topic altogether. HSP TV is live on Facebook and Instagram every Thursday, 5:30 Amsterdam time, GMT +1. If you have any questions, come ask them in the live show or email them to me at info@tobeinbalance.com, and I will be glad to answer them in the next episode. If you have any topics that you would like to know more about, also email them to me. I would be more than happy to talk about it in the next episode. If you liked this video, then don't forget to comment it, to like it, and to even share it with the people that you think it could be valuable for. Thank you for your attention, and I hope to see you again next week. Bye!